I realized that I didn't want to live a normal, ordinary life. I wanted to live an extraordinary life. And living an extraordinary life often comes with a ton of discomfort. This is so far outside my comfort zone, what I'm doing every single day. And it has probably killed my nervous system over the last 2 years, but it has built me into a tougher, stronger version of myself at the same time. And for that, I'm so thankful.
Welcome to the Prosperity Playground, the podcast where business meets energetics, strategy meets soul, and prosperity becomes inevitable. I'm your host, Anna Lozano, mom, founder, investor, mentor, and energetics in business expert. This is your weekly activation to rewire how you think and feel about wealth, success, and personal power, because it's not about working harder, it's about regulating deeper, aligning stronger, and receiving wider. You don't hustle for your future, you calibrate to your higher self. Join me weekly for high-level conversations with the world's most inspiring entrepreneurs, creators, and thought leaders. True prosperity isn't just about money. It's about alignment, freedom, expansion, and embodying your worth. Welcome to the playground. Let's build your most prosperous life. Welcome back to the Prosperity Playground podcast. Today's episode is a behind the brand conversation with Addison Labonte of Sweet Addisons, who I met through the Founders Club community. Addison is passionate about creating elevated, better for you treats that don't sacrifice flavor. She blends creativity with a commitment to quality ingredients, building a brand that feels both indulgent and intentional. Through Sweet Addisons, she brings a fresh, modern approach to dessert, one that's as beautiful as it is delicious. In this episode, we dive into how Addison turned organic demand into a thriving product-based DTC business, the LinkedIn MBA strategy that helped her launch in the CPG space that she knew nothing about, and what it really looks like to step into the CEO role while navigating fear, growth, and social media demands. I cannot wait to try all her healthy creations, especially the protein and caramel ones. Let's dive in.
So we can grow our
hair. Your stuff is yummy. I cannot wait to try it, but I would love for you to take us back to the moment when Sweet Addison's was just an idea and you're like, okay, I think there's something here to turn this into a business.
So in December of 2022, I was posting a Christmas cookie series on Instagram. So I'm a full-time content creator. Everything I post is about health and wellness and at-home baking. I myself have been gluten-free for almost 10 years now, so everything I do is gluten-free. And I posted a different cookie recipe each day in December leading up to Christmas. And that was, like I said, 2022. And the series kind of went viral. I got a ton of new followers, but the craziest thing happened. I started getting DMs from people across the country asking if they could buy these from me and asking if I sold them anywhere or if they were in grocery stores. I even had some people say, I will pay you to ship these to me, which I thought was insane because I was just making them in my apartment kitchen. And so I kind of tabled that idea for a few months. And then in early 2023, I was in a really bad car accident. And I thought, life is so short. Why don't I stop living with fear? Why don't I just take every day as a gift? And this idea kept coming back. Like, what if I launched my own brand? Now, I didn't think it would be cookies to start. I knew it would be something in the healthy baking world, but I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to launch with. And I now live in Texas, but my family and a bunch of my friends still live in Maine, where I grew up. And so I was going back and forth all the time, flying frequently. And every time before I flew, I would bake a batch of cookies and bring them with me because I could never find clean ingredient baked goods that tasted good anywhere on the market. And so one day I was flying, I took a whole thing through TSA. They of course stopped me, asked why I had so many cookies in my bag.
What's in those cookies, Addison?
Right, exactly. And I was like, actually, they're very healthy. There's nothing, unconventional in here. But it hit me one day and I thought, the reason that I'm bringing these cookies with me is because it doesn't exist on the market. And I have this large following online that's already asking for something. So I have demand. I know how to make these. Why don't I launch a cookie company? And when I tell you, I had no idea what I was doing. Some days I still don't. I had absolutely no clue. So this is like mid 2023 when I finally mentally come around to, okay, I'm going to launch a cookie brand. And so what I did was I went on LinkedIn and I cold messaged probably 100 people in the consumer packaged good, the CPG world, and asked them for 20 minutes of their time. So I was talking to brand founders, suppliers, vendors, designers, everything from soup to nuts when it comes to CPG. And I call that my LinkedIn MBA.
Well, okay. Let's pause for a second. But because at this point you have a large Instagram following. But where did this strategy come from? I'm going to go on LinkedIn and I'm going to start asking the right questions to the right people, because this is brilliant. Actually, no one's ever shared anything like this.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. I just thought there's so much I don't know. Let's go ask the people who do know. And I think LinkedIn is such a great social media tool. People think it's just for work. No, it's not. It's really for connections. So I learned everything I could, and then I ended up launching Sweet Addison's in early 2024.
Oh my gosh. Okay, no. We got a lot more to unpack here. So when you're messaging these people, did you have a list of strategic, well, let's call them advisors you wanted to connect with? Like you mentioned, packaging, CPG world. Like, did you have a list of people you're like, I need to have these conversations with these specific people in order to move this ahead?
It wasn't that calculated. What ended up happening was on every single call I got on, the person would inevitably say, you need to talk to this person. Let me intro you to this person. So by the end, it was like a big web of people who all know each other and who work in this world. So everyone was so generous. I will say one of the first women I talked to told me this was a really bad idea and there was no market for it. And I'm really glad I didn't listen to her.
I'm really glad you didn't listen either.
Everyone else thought it was a great idea, was very, very helpful, generous with their time and their knowledge and their connections.
Incredible.
So highly recommend.
Yeah. So what did the ask look like? Like, what was your message? What did it look like? Spill the beans.
I would just say, hi, my name is Addison. I'm thinking about starting a CPG brand. There's a lot in this business that I don't know. I see that you have experience doing XYZ. Could I grab 20 minutes of your time?
Brilliant.
That's it.
Oh my God. Okay. This is a huge hack for everyone listening, because so often we're just stuck in analysis paralysis. I don't know this. I don't know how to do this. Right now, we obviously have support of AI and chat and Claude, and you can really get a lot of information, but human to human, real life experience and going for it is huge. And we know likely you're going to get a yes. When we actually do the asking, people, humans, especially women, are so incredibly generous with their time. What we don't do is ask. So I'm actually curious, have you ever had a fear of asking? Was that something? Because it's a belief system that runs behind many female founders' minds and in their subconscious. Is like, I don't want to ask. I don't want to, be a burden. I don't want to take someone's time. Did that ever cross your mind? Because I love asking, and I always felt it was something that I developed over time. But did that ever cross your mind? You're like, I'm just going for it.
No, I just went for it. I think, though, that's a product of how I was raised. My parents always really encouraged us to ask a lot of questions. And so I was always, as a child, I've always been a very curious person. I want to know how things work, how businesses are built, how people operate. So I just remember as a child, I would ask my parents so many questions. I would ask my teachers in school so many questions. And I want to figure things out. And eventually growing up, my parents would then say, go ask Google, like figure this out on your own. Don't just ask us, like go do some research and figure this out. So that's essentially what I did. Was I was doing my research, and not only was I just on LinkedIn, but I was listening to a ton of podcasts about this industry, following people on Instagram who had their own brands. So I was essentially just doing my due diligence when it came to PG world is all about.
So good. Ask the right questions and ask for support, because there are people that are just so generous with their time, but if you never ask them, you're never going to get their generosity and their expertise. So that is brilliant. So then what happened next? You've done your research, you've had these conversations, you're like, you know what? I'm going for this. What steps did you have to take next?
I needed to figure out what product I wanted to launch with. So everybody loves a chocolate chip cookie, so I figured that was a pretty safe bet. So then it came time to recipe test. So for the chocolate chip cookie, I went through 26 recipe variations to land on the same recipe that we use today. So this was all at home recipe testing. So it was going through different types of gluten-free flours, different sweeteners. Did I want to use eggs? Did I not want to use eggs? And then once I finally came up with a recipe that I was utterly obsessed with, then it came time to find the vendors. So I'm not going to just go down to my local grocery store and buy these ingredients. It'd be way too expensive. So how can I order in bulk? What vendors and suppliers can I make connections with and start working with on a really small level? Because I wasn't going to order 10,000 pounds of almond flour to my 700 square foot apartment. I did start ordering 500 pounds of almond flour to my apartment, and it literally overtook my living room for the first 6 months of doing this.
And being in this industry, do you need a commercial kitchen? Or are you okay to launch from your apartment like you did?
It depends on the state you live in. I live in Texas and we have a cottage food law. So you actually can operate out of your home. There's several different stipulations. You can't have pets. I don't have a pet. And in order to operate out of your house, I believe you still have to be under 50,000 in revenue. So once I hit that 50,000 mark year one, I was also like busting at the seams. I went into a commercial.
You needed to move. Okay, brilliant. So you're getting all this flour into your apartment. Your neighbors are probably like, what the fuck is happening over here? These are legal cookies, we have to stress.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have your recipe, you test all these different ingredients, recipes, you have your final one that currently we can purchase. Okay, what happens next? This is so fun. I always say, like, what a gift that we get to have an idea, we get to curate something from an idea into a physical product that people get to enjoy. Like, I love entrepreneurship so much.
Yes, I do too. So after that, it was building a website. So I hired someone to build a website for me, and then it was time to launch. So I launched January 30th of 2024, and thankfully I do have an audience online that was ready and excited to buy these day one. So for the first 6 months or so, I didn't do any paid marketing. It was all just through mostly Instagram and my following. And then it was just off to the races. And then it was launching new flavors, doing some influencer collaborations, building out a team. And it's kind of crazy that it has only been 2 years, but it also has felt like such a long time. Like, I've grown so much as a person and an entrepreneur in that time.
Oh my gosh.
span.
So 2 years is nothing. It's incredible to witness your success. I just want to take it back a little moment because, I just need all the details. So when you had the formulation, what happened with the packaging, right? What about shipping? All those things that you need to get the product into the hands of your consumer. So did you, even the packaging that it comes in, how did you find that supplier? Was there a process? Did you have any crazy situations where you're like, oh man, we just invested a lot of money and this isn't going to work? Or was it pretty much smooth sailing?
It definitely has not been smooth sailing. In the beginning, I was using clear cellophane bags, like what you'd see at the farmer's market, and just putting a sticker label on those and shipping them. So yeah, it was very homegrown, I'll say. It was very grassroots. But when it came to shipping, talked to a few other people in the industry, found a really great shipping website, like a shipping platform online to use. But again, when I tell you that, I had no idea what I was doing when I started. I really didn't. So in order to test the shipping and to see if they would spoil, I sent some to my parents in Maine. And I thought, if these cookies can go from Texas to Maine and be great, then they can pretty much go anywhere in the country and be fine. So I remember those 3 days that it took for them to get to Maine. The whole time I'm like, if something happens, I can no longer launch this brand next month. I just went through 26 recipe variations, and if they aren't able to be shipped I don't
You
have
don't
a
have
business.
Yeah.
And then, right. And thankfully my parents got them, loved them. And I was like, okay, I actually do have a
Oh
business
my
here.
gosh, so good. Okay, so you launch. Tell us, so when your Instagram account right now has about 276,000 followers. At that time when you launched, how many followers did you have on your IG?
Ooh, probably about
Okay, so you
200,000, maybe even a little bit
That's awesome. So
less.
you had a great foundation. When do you remember the moment when your first like cold market sale came through? I find as a product founder, that is the greatest gift because obviously we can sell to family, friends, or social following, the people that we know and names we recognize. But when that first cold market sale comes through, I feel like that is the best feeling in the world.
Yes, I do remember that. So for the first week or so, it was all family, friends, or people who had been following me for years who had messaged me saying, I'm about to buy. So I, for the most part, knew everybody. And then week one, I had a woman in Dallas actually order. And so I thought, well, this was my only order today. I'm going to drive to her house, drop them off. And so I remember pulling up to her house. I knocked on her door. She answered. And I was like, how did you find me? And she said that, so week one, I was actually on a podcast, and she said that she had found me on a podcast and wanted to give me a try because she was into her health and wellness, but loved desserts. And actually, she and I are friends
I
now,
love
which is really cool.
Very.
So that was the first one where I was like, oh, you are so random. How did you find me? This is so cool. And now tell all your friends about
love
me.
that. And see, there's the ask again. I love the ask. It's so gracious. It's so heartfelt. And ladies, if you have a problem asking, just test it out. Try it on. It is not as scary as we make it out to be. So that is amazing. And that's totally like a Sarah Blakely moment, you know, knocking on the door, arriving. It looks so good.
And
Let's hit pause for just a moment because if you run a small business, whether you are a shop owner or a brand, I want to make sure that you know about Faire. Faire is the largest wholesale marketplace connecting over hundreds of thousands of brands and retailers. And here's why it matters. If you own a shop, you know how hard it is to find unique products and the countless hours that go into sourcing. Faire makes it easy to stock your shelves with items your customers will not find in big box stores, and it lets you sell that stock before you even have to pay, thanks to their 60-day payment terms. And if you're a brand, you know how much time and energy it takes to get your products into new retailers. Faire changes that. Imagine your products being discovered by retailers around the world. No endless cold pitching, no sales reps, no knocking on doors, just retail shops finding you and reordering again and again. I truly love companies that create a true win-win business, and that is exactly what Faire does, giving brands the visibility that they need while supporting retailers with their cash flow. It makes growth possible for both sides of the table. So whether you're looking for fresh products to stock or ready to get your brand into more stores, check out Faire. It's where small businesses grow together. And as a little bonus, if you are a retailer and haven't made an order through Faire before, you can use code Prosperity10 for 10% off your first order. All right, let's get back to this episode. Okay, amazing. So you've grown a seven-figure e-commerce brand, DTC. Tell us about the experience. So you said you've had organic through social. You're working with some ads right now. Do you have goals to do wholesale? Get into retailers like Whole Foods? Tell us a little bit about your growth plan.
Yes. So the number one question that I get from people is, where can I find this in grocery stores, or where can I find this near me? So one of my goals for the next couple years is to get into a national retailer. My choice would actually be Sprouts. I love shopping at Sprouts. I have one right down the street from me, and I love that everything is very curated and their ingredients really matter. And I think that that would be a really great customer demographic for Sweet Addisons. So that is my goal for the next, like I said, year or two. And then maybe Whole Foods is down the line, maybe Costco someday, who knows? But my biggest goal is for as many people to enjoy my desserts as possible. I know what it's like to have food allergies and feel left out, like I can't participate in a birthday party or a holiday, or not be able to eat anything. So I don't want that feeling for anybody else. So that is my biggest goal, is to expand distribution through a national retailer, or I think a platform like Thrive Market would be perfect for Sweet Addisons as well.
Amazing. So anyone listening, if you have connections, make sure to reach out to Addison and connect her. I love that. Let's chat a little bit about social media growth. So you mentioned you're a content creator to start. Your Instagram obviously has a booming following. You also have your brand Instagram following. I'd love to focus, things are shifting so fast. When I was growing my product-based business, which we exited in 2022, for us, influencer marketing was huge. It was the era where influencer marketing was really on the rise. People were really open to receiving gifts, sharing it with their communities. Things obviously have shifted, and they are continuing to shift. So if we look at 2026 and beyond, what are you seeing actually work? What I'm witnessing is, like yourself, you have a personal brand, you have a founder account, and then you have your company account. So how important is it to be a forward-facing founder? What are some growth strategies let's focus on Instagram specifically, that you're seeing now that's really working, and then what you feel is coming up in the future, so that we can leverage some of these tips for our own social growth and organic growth, really.
The biggest thing for social media growth is consistency. You have to be posting just about every day. I post stories every single day, and then I will post as an influencer account. I'll post 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, always reels. I find that video content works best. And then it really comes down to, what does your audience want, right? Like, this isn't about me anymore. This is about serving other people. So I have fine-tuned what I post now, and I've figured out what my audience is looking for and how to go viral, which is really fun. And then when it comes to the cookie brand, I'm always surveying my audience there. So what flavors do you want to see next? Why do you buy from us? What's your favorite flavor that we offer? Other things that you'd like to see? And just taking the emphasis off of me. Again, this is not about me. This is about how can I best serve my customers. So I think whether you're posting just content or you're posting a product that you want people to buy, really tapping into, what does the customer really want from you? I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to social media growth.
Totally. And what are you seeing some of the responses? Like, what from your business account, what do the followers want to see?
They love new flavor launches. They love collaborations as well. They think it's really cool when we collaborate with an influencer or another brand. And we have some really cool collaborations coming up, which I'm excited to give to our audience. But they just love seeing me on there, not because it's me, but they just love seeing a founder who cares so much. And just being able to connect with them has been really awesome.
I love that. So when you're looking for influencers to partner and collaborate with, like, what makes sense specifically for your brand? Because I'm sure you've worked with various types of influencers. What have you seen move the needle? Is it more about revenue? Is it about brand awareness? What's the dance between the intention of partnering with influencers these days?
A lot of it is brand awareness, getting the word out about our brand and what we stand for, but revenue matters equally as much. We are a business at the end of the day, and we want to grow our customer base. When it comes to choosing influencers to work with, I really look at engagement. So is their audience obsessed with them? Those are the types of people I want to work with. It doesn't have to be a food creator. In fact, it's probably better if it's not a food creator. Because us food creators are posting about various food brands all day, every day. Whereas, let's say a mom with young kids is probably posting about other things. And so when she posts about a cookie brand, that really stands out. Yeah. It's something different. So she's not posting all these other snacks and desserts and meals and, oh, here's just another cookie brand. It's, here's what my kids are wearing to school. Here's what and then the cookie brand really stands out. So I'm just looking for people who are very authentic, who have a really genuine following, who is obsessed with them.
That's awesome. That's a great metric. Now, what about collaborations? So when you're dreaming up dreamiest collaborations, we had a huge collaboration with a Canadian influencer named Jillian Harris when we were, again, building Love Powered Co. Yeah, which was huge for our brand. And we actually curated a product from scratch with her, which was incredible. I mean, revenue and brand awareness. And it was so much fun. And this is the thing, like, you don't have to do entrepreneurship by yourself, and you get to create these dreamy collaborations that are win-win for both businesses plus the audiences that are coming together. So what do you look for when dreaming up these collaborations?
The collaborations are my favorite part. I love new flavors. I love collaborations. There's so many cool ideas that I have going on in my mind at all times. But when I'm looking for collaborations, I want to lean into one or two things, if not both. So I think the thing that separates my brand from other cookies on the market is we really tap into the health aspect, but also the taste aspect. So prior to starting Sweet Addison's, I could not find a brand that was both healthy and delicious. So if I'm able to tap into the health side of things, like we launched a protein cookie and a protein brownie last year, those have done really well because people follow us and buy us because we're healthy. But then I've also launched a s'mores cookie, and that really taps into the indulgence aspect while still maintaining the health. So I look at brands, is it a healthy health or wellness brand, or is it a totally indulgent brand that also follows our strict guidelines for ingredients that I'll use? And then there's just so many different ideas that I have when it comes to flavor combinations and different desserts that we can launch. I'm truly in my mind all day, every day. I'm like, what if we worked with this brand? What if we added this? What if we flavored it like this? So that's my favorite part.
Can you share one collab that's living in your brain for like a future collab so that we just can get inside your brain and help you manifest it?
Sure. So I am currently talking with a coffee company, and we're thinking about doing an espresso cookie, which I think would be really fun. I've also talked to an ice cream company, and we might be doing a fun dessert collab there, a healthy ice cream.
Yes.
The healthiest, best tasting ice cream, of course. So we might be doing something there. And then I've talked to a few other influencers who want to launch flavors with us. And then I really think also about more functional desserts. So the protein cookie and protein brownie, those are my favorites because I love to work out and I love eating a very high protein diet. So what else can I add to a dessert to make it functional? So I'm gonna let that one still be a tease. But there are things that I'm working on.
I love that one.
There are things in my home kitchen right now where I've been testing this week, and I'm like, I think that one is going to be a winner.
Well, for me, all things caramel, dulce de leche, and anything on that wavelength. Cajeta. Oh my God, such a fan. That's kind of my favorite. Oh, and cheesecake. Like, I think for me, protein plus caramel, protein plus cheesecake. Oh my gosh, all day, every day. So keep me posted, please. When you're looking at structuring collaborations, there's just infinite ways to structure a collaboration that's a win-win for both brands. Can you share, whatever in terms of like ability to share where you've had a collaboration that was structured in a way that truly was like a win-win? You're like, this is it. I love the structure so much that maybe we can borrow from your wisdom.
Sure. So with all of my collaborations and partnerships, I really want it to be mutually beneficial for us and our partner. So I typically structure it as a commission-based offer. And with influencers, they're used to that through affiliate marketing anyway. And then with the other brands that we work with, that typically works out well because it's just a revenue share for them. And we're able to bring brand awareness to both brands. So I found that to be the best case scenario for both us and who we are working with. And whenever I'm working with either an influencer or another brand, I don't like to set hard and fast guidelines for what they should post. As an influencer myself, I don't work best that way. I know my audience well. These other influencers know their audience best. So I say, this is how I think it will go. And as much as you're willing to post and share and repost and talk about this, however you want to do that and convey this message to your audience, be my guest, right? This is your channel. This is your brand. We're just excited to be a part of it.
That's such a great energy. I feel like as we were talking about influencer gifting, when we were really doing, at scale influencer gifting, there was never any pressure, like, here is a gift. Amazing. So much gratitude if you share. but take away that pressure. And when we look at energetics and frequency, every single influencer shared, because we didn't put those guidelines and that pressure and that, icky energy behind it. And if someone is receiving a gift, if someone is entering into a collaboration or a partnership, they want it to see it win also. And so as long as we don't have that harsh energy, I feel like paying attention to energetics is really important. And how does every single person feel in the partnership that they're coming into, for me, is foundationally the most important thing. And this is one of the reasons when we look at like online stuff, I no longer do summits. I feel like that business model is a hard no for me, simply because it's great brand awareness, but the strictness of promotion, it just does not vibe with me. Like, I'm not, it's like 10 emails, 10 social posts, and I was like, it is too harsh, too rigid, and it's not even in the rhythm, in the cadence that I post with naturally. And so I've started saying, like, that's a hard no for me. I don't do summits. I do podcasts, I do stages, but there's certain things that I no longer do because it doesn't feel good. And so paying attention to that win-win energy, how does it feel? I would love to switch gears to mindset, your faith and belief system. So you moved from content creator into a CEO of a thriving CPG brand. What are some mindset shifts, some belief system shifts that you had to make in order to be in the CEO role for your company?
It has been the last 2 years have challenged me mentally, physically, every sense of the word. It has forced me to become a more confident, self-assured version of myself. It has also forced me to become more graceful with my team at work and with myself. I am such a type A planner. I like everything to go according to schedule, to be on time, and I don't like when plans change. When you're laughing because you understand that when it comes to business, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. And it's learning to be adaptable. I would not consider myself, prior to starting this business, to be a very adaptable, go with the flow person. No, I don't like going with the flow. I like everything to be perfectly planned and executed. Now, being a brand founder, every day I'm like, something's going to go wrong, and it's up to me to determine my attitude towards what happens and how to fix it and how to move forward. So it has really challenged my belief system and the way that I used to operate, and I'm thankful for that. It's some days I want to pull my hair out, but it has made me into a much better version of myself. So it has been every single week there's something where I'm like, I never in a million years thought that this would happen. And here we are, and I have to deal with it. And I jokingly say that as an entrepreneur, we're basically just professional problem fixers. Like, that's what we do, is we just fix problems all day long. And I think problem has such a negative connotation. These aren't necessarily negative things. They're just challenges to overcome. So it has formed me into a better version of myself, but man, has it challenged me at times.
Oh my gosh. This is the journey. And, I don't believe that everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur, but if this is your calling, this is just part of the journey, and it's part of the process. And, once you figure things out, like once you solve that problem or challenge, it's like you expand, you experience growth, and it's like pat on the back. It feels so good to overcome these things. And I feel like faith is such a big piece of it, because it's also trusting that maybe there is a different path. Maybe there's a better pivot. Maybe there's something else on the other side of this thing that you could have never predicted that is going to lead you in a direction that's even better than you logically thought and planned for. And so I love this conversation so much, because one, it's not for everybody. Two, if it's for you, it's the greatest journey and the greatest gift and the greatest privilege to be an entrepreneur and a curator and to bring ideas to reality and into life. So amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. I'd love to know, is there anything else that you'd love to share on your journey? You've built a 7-figure brand. You're scaling e-commerce, DTC, you're looking to move into retail partnerships. Any golden nuggets that maybe I might have missed that you'd love to share with the listeners who are founders building brands?
Sure. I think that most people don't talk about fear, and or they say be fearless, don't live with fear. But something that I love to talk about and share with people is I always want to look back on my life someday when I'm hopefully 100 something years old, sitting on my deathbed. What am I going to look back on my life and reflect on? And it'd be really easy to have just stayed in that finance career where I got a paycheck every other Friday. It was 9 to 5. I didn't work on the weekends. I had the 401k, I had the health insurance, taxes were easy. And
It's tax season as we're recording this.
and just stayed on that predictable career path. But for me, it wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't rewarding. I was not happy. I did not look forward to going to work every day, but it was comfortable for me. And I realized that I didn't want to live a normal, ordinary life. I wanted to live an extraordinary life. And living an extraordinary life often comes with a ton of discomfort. And that's something that I was not necessarily expecting on this journey, was how much discomfort I feel on a daily basis. It is this is so far outside my comfort zone, what I'm doing every single day. And it has probably killed my nervous system over the last 2 years, but it has built me into a tougher, stronger version of myself at the same time. And for that, I'm so thankful. But I think people who are thinking about starting a business or who are too scared and let fear hold them back, I would just say, go visit a nursing home. And you're going to see people who are on their last stages of life, and envision yourself when you're their age. Are you going to look back on your life and think, I never pursued that dream because I was too scared to fail, or I was too scared what people thought about me? Or are you going to look back on your life and think, I was brave and I was bold, and at least I tried and I pursued that dream? So I really think that people really don't understand how truly short and fleeting life is, but that should also be a good thing. We only get this one shot. We have to really make the most of it.
So good. I love that so much. And also on your nervous system, let's make sure we bring it back to life. Because your nervous system.
I'm in the process right now. I actually sleep 7 hours a night now, which is like shocking. The first 2 years, I think I averaged 5 hours a night of sleep, and I was on this hamster wheel and I could not get off. And so when 2026 started, I thought, this is the year that I reclaim my health. I'm going to sleep more. I'm hitting at least 130 to 140 grams of protein a day. I just need to sleep. I need to relax. And it's been really, really great.
So good. And I think it's a perfect example. Like, there are seasons on this journey that, yes, you're sleeping less, you're working more, especially the startup, the launch phase. It is so much unknown, like you said, so much uncertainty, and it takes a lot of hard work, but also paying attention to how you're feeling, how you're eating, what your habits are, and trying to incorporate more and more of those rhythms and rituals that feel good. Because feeling good on this journey for me, like right now, and I think I'm a lot older than you, is like the number one metric is I want to feel good as I move into this next startup. Does it mean there's going to be no hard work? Absolutely not. Entrepreneurship comes with a lot of fucking hard work. And I choose to do it in a way that feels good. And if anything ever feels out of alignment, that's going to be my number one priority, is how do we pivot or shift? Because alignment is going to be my number one metric, because I've done it the other way and I've burnt out and it didn't feel good. And I arrived at the sale and I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, that journey was intense. These 6 years just flew by. I also had babies, and we're going to do it from a completely different energetic frequency right now, because it gets to feel good, but it has to be a choice. So I'm proud of you. You're doing amazing things, and I can't wait. So I'm in Canada and Mexico. Do you guys ship to Canada at this stage or not yet? Not yet.
Not yet, but I get asked every week. So hopefully soon enough.
So I'm going to have to figure out how to, because like you are talking my language. I love desserts. My kids love desserts, but you know what? We're very also intentional with sugar and the quality of desserts. And so I just need to stock up. Next time I come to the States, I'm going to stock up, bring back cookies in my luggage. And I can't wait to continue witnessing your journey. And I can't wait to meet you in person at one of the Founders Club events in 2026. We're going to move into rapid fire, and then you're going to share where we can find you. So are you ready? All right.
Ready.
Do you have a morning routine, and what does it look like?
I do. I always wake up. I love to wake up early and I love to work out. If I can get movement in early in the day, that's the best. And if it's outside, even better.
What does worthy mean to you?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. Worthy. Yeah, I might have to come back to this one. I've never thought about the definition of worthy, and yeah, I need to think about this one because I don't want to give you an answer that I just came up with off the fly.
CEO or creator, what do you love more?
Oh, I'm going to say creator, which is not at all what I would have thought for most of my life. I was a math major in college, but right now I'm having so much fun creating things. I will say CEO is like very, very close behind. I love running this business, but right now I have so many ideas and I love creating.
Good. Do you play pickleball?
I do. I love pickleball.
Okay, that's the brand I'm launching, so we got to chit chat. And what is your say that again?
Pickleball is a really big thing here in Dallas. People love it.
I'm so excited. I'm in like such a startup phase and like everything you've described. So take yourself back to pre-launch. That's where I'm at right now. Yeah, all the things, all the fears, all the uncertainties, all the unknowns. And it's like that constant reminder, no, this gets to feel good and you're fully divinely guided and supportive. And then I'm like talking to myself, show me the next step, creator. Like we got this. And we're building pickleball. So, which is so much fun. And I'm nursing an injury right now because my husband and I were playing a tournament. I wiped out, hurt my knee, haven't played for 2 weeks. So yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, final question. What does prosperity mean to you?
Prosperity. I think it means these definition questions, man, you're killing me. Prosperity. You know what's interesting is I was just in Vegas a couple months ago and there was this whole big display for the Chinese New Year. And one of the words of the year was prosperity. And I was like, you know what? I love that word. To me, I would say it means thriving. You're prosperous. You're stepping into your confidence and your ability and success. And to be prospering, yeah, would be to be thriving.
Beautiful. I love that. And where can everybody find you?
So as a creator on Instagram, I am organically Addison. And then my cookie brand is Sweet Addisons. And you can order for direct shipment all through all 50 United States, sweetaddisons.com.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. I had a blast.
Thanks for joining me on today's episode of the Prosperity Playground podcast. If this conversation sparked something in you, be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts so you never miss your weekly activation. If you enjoyed the conversation, please rate and review. Your feedback helps us reach more souls just like you who are ready to calibrate to their most prosperous life. Know someone who needs this frequency boost? Share the episode to Instagram and tag me @_Anna Lozano so we can grow our energetically aligned community together. And please remember, true prosperity is about alignment, freedom, expansion, and embodying your worth. Start today. I'm Anna Lozano, and this is the Prosperity Playground. See you on the next activation.